So basically, I decided to make my YouTube account public and I'm posting videos on it. And after having had some thought about like my everyday life, I figured that really no one give a shit about what I'm doing and what I'm going through. So I decided to just like public talking about it, so maybe I'll feel better because I honestly don't have much friends. I guess I have a few, but they are not always available, and some of them are pretty busy and some of them are pretty far away. So I decided that I'm going to share my thoughts on stuff that happens in daily life and to share my life as well. So basically, I'm going to talk about me. It's going to be, I don't know, fun for me, but I don't know if it's going to be fun for you. Anyway, so yes, I think I should make a video where I present myself, that explains where I come from and then what is happening with me and things like that, etc. So basically, first of all, I am a person who is diagnosed with a mental health problem, a quite serious one, which is like when I was 17, they said that I have paranoid schizophrenia. If you don't understand what a paranoid schizophrenia is, that is when a person is like very being paranoid about whether people are talking about them, stalking them, sometimes like even like FBI stalking them, like there is micros like installed in their home and being constantly listened and watched out at all time. So I kind of had this somewhat, like at the very beginning I thought that was just my classmate talking about me when like my episode started, and then it became like at the beginning it was just my classmate, like in my own class, and then it became all the classes of the same year, and then it became all the high school, and then eventually became all the school. My school had like primary school, secondary school, so it was like everyone in my school was talking about me on my back and saying things about me that was pretty negative, and they seemed to know about my personal life somewhat, so they were talking about every details, even my thoughts were being listened. So what I think is out there, like I don't know how, but it's out there, and I even thought that the television was talking to me. So the TV presenter inside was just talking about like daily stuff or the weather or whatever that is. When I was watching the TV, I thought they were talking to me and they were reacting to my emotions, my gestures, and my like body languages. They were like, even my thought, like they were reacting to everything that was about me. So that was really overwhelming. And then from that moment, I just stopped watching TV altogether. I just don't watch anything that is live. I just kind of want to watch stuff that was already on TV or thing that was already recorded. That was like standable, but otherwise it's like bearable. Yeah, bearable. But otherwise it's like I can't stand them. If it's live or in a certain period of timeline, I would avoid them, because if it's too recent I would think they were talking about me. But if it happened before I got this period of psychotic thing, I would think, yeah, that was not about me, that was just a common thing that's happening. So when that happened, I think I was just 14 or 15, something like that. So when you were new, that was like, when you're new to this life, you don't know much about the thing that's going on in this world, and no one is really educating you about things that's really happening. So history is like repeating in itself somewhat, and there's tons of things that people knows and talk about and repeat themselves. So basically, on TV is the same, in everyday life is the same, but I was not aware of it. So when things happens for the first time to me, I think that was personal, like that was directed towards me, whereas it was a very general stuff. So basically my first period of psychosis was then back then, and then it evolved into a very serious type of PTSD or serious type of social anxiety. I was scared of everyone, like I just can't get out, or it was very difficult for me to get out. My parents were not very understandable. They were like, you were just making a scene, you're not like that, why you're doing things on purpose, you should just go back to school, why you're making our life difficult as well. So they were not very understandable because they're, I don't know, they just kind of can't relate to me. So I felt really bad about it. Then like time passes and I was suffering every day throughout like 2 years until I was 17. At 17 I moved to London, and then it started to get a bit better because I was followed by psychiatrist there, like a psychological structure, I think. So yes, then like I got a bit better because at the beginning I was thinking that people were out there stalking me and wanting to kill me somewhat, and I was worried about not only just my safety, I was also worried about my parents' safety, my sister's safety, my mom's safety, and stepdad's safety. Up to that point that was really chaotic. So everything seems like very dangerous when it's like, so for example, for a person that doesn't have, like, it's not in my mind, he was just walking by the street and like they on a daily life nothing particular is happening. But for me it's like every day I get out, something bad might happen to me, like an accident, car accident, a train accident, a bus accident, someone just stealing stuff over me or harming me or throwing stuff at me, like anything like that could happen to me. I don't know why. This is just my mind playing a trick with me, you know. So for a very long period of time I was living with that until like I got back from London. That was in 2016 when I was 20 years old, and then it didn't get better, like, but I just, like, you know, I was reading a lot of self-help book, like 20 years old, but back then I felt like I was just like, you know, 12 or something like this. I still feel like I'm not 25. Today I'm 25, but I just don't feel like I'm 25. I feel like I'm a teen, 18, 17 some years, like that, because I just feel like I don't know much about this life, to be honest. Even though I'm 25 years, I just feel like I feel like I wasted all my teenage years and my early 20s in things that are not real, and worrying about what people think about me if I get harmed, all kind of psychotic stuff. And yeah, so when you have a paranoid schizophrenia, life is pretty much hell every day. But it's not the kind of hell to saying, yes, I don't have food, or I worry about food every day, I don't have stuff to wear, I can't go somewhere, like, you know, taking transport because I don't have enough money. It was not that kind of hell, but it was like a mental torture every day. Things like I can't get out because people are going to harm me and I feel scared. I'm scared of everyone. I still am scared of everyone up till now, but just gotten a bit better because I can get out and being able to bear with others, you know. So when I came back from London when I was 20 years old, I started to get out a bit more, thanks to all the self-help books I've read, to be a bit more positive and getting out of my own comfort zone. Like, you know, just the comfort zone thing is still like very confusing for me, but I just think, yeah, just do more stuff until you get used to it. So I've started to do that, but it was very painful. And then I just got to know my ex-boyfriend, and with this ex-boyfriend I've known him since 2016, and today is 2021, so we've known each other for 5 years and we still have some contact. and actually we are going to live in the same city. So currently I still have a somewhat of relationship with him. I might think about going back to him because we had a very long history together. So yes, with him was very chaotic as well, because I was ill, and there are tons of things I'm not doing well, and I behave like a child sometimes, most of the times. So I would just the very beginning I was asking him, at the very beginning was fine, so we were like doing things all together, but then there's my mom giving me really really rotten advices, and I was stupid enough to listen to her. Well, the relationship with my mom is something else, I'm going to talk about that later. But so basically, I was in this very chaotic relationship with my ex-boyfriend, where I was, up to a certain point, I was the little kid saying, "Oh, you should bring me somewhere. I want this. Can you buy it to me? Can you invite me to eat stuff like that?" And I was constantly almost asking him. He was a student just like me back then, so he just have a very limited budget, but I was still forcing him to do something like that because we were living together and the apartment was under my name, so I got more decisions over things like whatever what we're going to do. And I was forcing him to come with me outside, to go outside. I was forcing him to pay stuff for me. So he was mad, really really mad, but he just kept that inside of him. Sometimes he was complaining, but he still done those things for me. And then because we were living together and the space was really small, like we were in a 15 square meter inside this place. I'm going to move out soon enough, and it's going to be the same size, pretty much the same size, but it's going to be a 2 storage thing. So I'm going to have an upper storage and a lower level where I'm going to sleep. Anyway, so we were living in this place, this room, and because the space was really tiny, and I have never lived with someone in this closed-off space ever, so I was feeling really really stressed out, oppressed, and I still can't get out up to that point, and I don't have much friends with. Sometimes I hang out with them, some of them, but then I lost touch with much more of them, but they were like not real friends, so I was okay with that. But then we got into fight with my ex because I was asking too much and he was just bearing with me, but then up to a certain point he just gotten enough of it, and we were fighting physically with each other, and I thought it's going to be bad, so I called the police, and the police said I told police that I don't want to leave him with him anymore, so his parent came and brought him back to their city. And that was end of our story, and that was in 2018. Yes, 2018 was over. And that was about a 2-year relationship, 3 years relationship. No, that was 2019, I think. I can't remember well. Anyways, between 2-3 years of relationship, we broke up, and so yeah, that was the whole frame. And then the very interesting thing I'm going to talk about, that is my whole year long of psychosis. That psychosis lasted for about a year, and it started around the time of Corona, so October 2019 to this year. At the beginning of this year, March, I think. No, I got off the hospital in June and May, I think. End May, beginning June. So end May, beginning June, that was the end of the whole psychosis. Now I'm getting a bit better. I'm still taking medication, things like that regularly, but I'm trying to reduce them slowly because they will have too much side effect, like taking weight. I've taken 20 kilo since I've been taking this medication. No, 10 kilo since I've been taking the medication, but from the very beginning to now, it's 20 kilo. So I'm trying to reduce the dose on my own. I don't know if it's a good idea. I think it's not a good idea, but I still want to try because it just gives me more control over what I want to do, what I'm going to do with my medications, which is a form of control, I think. So makes me feel better about myself. So yes, the whole October 2019 to May 2021 this year, it's a whole long story of a whole period of psychosis. So if you want to listen, I'm going to talk about it. I don't know if you ever had a psychosis before, but let me explain my psychosis for you because I think it was kind of fun. It was a really fun psychosis, and I don't know if it's common or not, but I think there is about 1% of population that is schizophrenic. So I think there is a bit more, like, even people with other type of mental health problems sometimes can have psychosis. So they just believe stuff on like whatever that is. Like they can believe everything. And in my case, at the beginning of when my psychosis started was in October 2019. And that period of time I had really, like, my health just degraded. Suddenly degraded. I don't know, it was because a bug, or I don't know, it's a bug. Like, I went to the forest and I got bite by a bug, and then I got like a whole inflammation in my skin. So I think that might be due to that, or it might be due to just was not really taking my medication, and there's the breakup thing with my ex. So there are tons of possibilities why this is happening to me. I was like not taking medication, really got bitten by a I don't know what's the name of this insect, but I think it's pretty bad. I can't remember, but anyway, it's in French it's called a tic. So if you got bitten by this insect, you can get like inflammations over your whole body, and sometimes damage to the brains, depends, like, or other stuff like that. Anyway, so I got bitten, and I was relationship with my ex was over, and I was calling to him desperately, and I was crying every night because I wanted to go back with him. My health was degrading, tons of things like that. So there's a whole period of 3 months until January, I guess, that was really, really hard because I was constantly checking my health, checking this, checking that. I think I pretty much checked everything. My back, my brain. I didn't check my hair because I wanted to check it, but I didn't got the time to check it. But I just pretty much checked everything, and they said it was fine. But to this moment, I was having like I don't know, just my orientation was not good. Like not orientation. The balance was not good. My body's balance was really off because every step I was taking, I just felt like the whole world was moving around, and that was really, I don't know what happened to me back then, but I was really in a bad situation. So this happened, and then I got a bit better. That was 3 months later, and I got back to a okay state where I can just walk normally, where I don't get those like movement things. But I still have muscle twitchings, like constantly here in the hand. It could be anywhere there's muscles, I can have muscle twitches. So it was pretty annoying, to be honest, because you don't know what is happening with your body, and you got scared because it's the first time happening. Now I've been having it since 2019. Sometimes I still have it, so I think like just, yeah, it's life, because I got like maybe some brain damage or things like that, neuronal damage. Anyway, and then like I can't remember how, there is this very interesting thing that happened to me, which is suddenly, I think that was April, like beginning April, mid-April or something like this, I just thought, no, well, actually, that was like from January to April, I got this feeling that someone was watching over me. Like, I don't know how, like an guardian angel or something like that. Someone was watching over me. Someone was helping me with my daily lives, trying to make it easier for me. And my other symptoms, like getting scared of people, was reducing to like I've never had this like reduced to I've never had this before level, but it was still like not like a normal person, but it's like it has reduced to a relatively low level for me. Like I've never been able to go in on the street and walk around and not really caring about what people think to a certain point, and I was not under medication, so I was pretty proud of myself. But then this thing happened that is I feel like I was being watching over, and I was playing this video game with my ex together, and he was really avoiding me in this game, but I was just sticking to him. Well, that's another story. But in this game, I met a few people, and I thought back then that was one of those people who were watching over me, but under a really twisted way, because I felt that they were hacking into my PC, listening to me, and watching over me and helping me through a certain way. Yes, like I was able to, in the same year, getting a state pension for mental people who was disabled like me. I was able to get out. I never got it before, so the first time I've gotten this. So I've been getting a bit more money in my wallet, so I was feeling better, and I was able to save enough money to buy myself a new iPhone and a new MacBook. That was things that I always wanted to have, but I've never got the opportunity to have because my parents are very, 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 very stingy, and they're like, they just don't like iPhone because it's expensive. That's it. Even though they were like financially okay, they have more than enough money to afford themselves an iPhone. Even though maybe even though I think the last model, but they just don't want to spend that money because they're stingy or money saving type of person, I would say. And I can't cope with them because I don't know. I've been living under those kind of situations for too long, so now I just hate those things like saving up, but saving up in a way that is torturous for yourself, like for your mental health, and feeling like you were, I don't know, I just can't cope with them anymore. I don't know for what reason, but I just feel like this is being too stingy. So anyway, so I was saying what? Oh yeah, so I felt like I was being watching over. And then one day, I was using this app called Quora. I don't know why, but I just like, I was Googling something about maybe my mental health. Yes, I was really into my mental health back then. I wanted to fix myself really, really bad. So I stumbled upon an article in Quora, and I was really interested, so I downloaded the app in Quora, and then suddenly I felt like someone was talking to me, directly to me, and I didn't know who it was, but I figured you knew who. I figured was Elon Musk, and that Elon Musk was talking to me. So yeah, that was the story. The end of the story. Like I've been talking to Elon Musk since April 2020, I think. Yeah, April 2020 I was talking to him until August, I think, or no, until November. Until November 2020 I was talking to him daily. And on top of it, I was dating him through social media, like things like Instagram, Twitter, and Quora. Yeah, that was the three I was using. So I was dating him through those three apps. asking me how, then it's going to be difficult. I was just, reading random thread in Twitter, and mostly Twitter. So I was reading posts in Twitter, and I just felt like those tweets were talking to me, and just like before, like, the presenter talking to me. Anyway, I just felt like they were talking to me, and then I was trying to make sense of it, but up to a certain point I was getting death threat from him, and so I just lived in kind of like a hell. So I got hospitalized in, I think in July. Yeah, July I got hospitalized. Oh yeah, I got hospitalized because I felt like my stepdad was raping me when I was sleeping. So I got hospitalized for 3 months or 2 months and a half, and I met quite a few people there, and some of them I kept contact with, and they still like became kind of like a friend with me, like friendly relationship, not close friend, but it's a friendly relationship. So that was in, from July to September, and then September I got off. But within a month, the death threat started again. I was still constantly checking Twitter, Instagram, and Quora. So yes, so I was checking them, and I've gotten tons of death threats, and I've been having other delirious thoughts like I was God, or I was like the archangel somewhere. Like there is a story with his kid as well, like number 12, because I like the number 12. 12 is the year I came to France. 12 is the year like I changed my whole environment, and 12 was the year like I had my childhood and to teenhood, pre-teenhood, and that was my happy childhood, or more or less happy childhood, to a very twisted pre-teenhood. Anyway, so there is a story with his kid as well, like the archangel thing. Like I thought I was the archangel sent from God, and I was receiving messages from God saying, like through my dreams, like I was having all kinds of weird dreams. Even in one dream, I think I was killing babies and I was burying them in the forest, and yes, I was doing that, like in a place that looked like a place that is actually near my where I live here, where I live. It has a tons of resemblance, but it's not there, and I've never killed babies and I've never buried them. But I've been having psychosis saying that my stepdad was raping me constantly, and every month I've been having some kind of miscarriage, and I've been like losing babies and burying babies, so it was pretty sad. So I still believe that, and I still don't want a good relationship with my stepdad, but I just can't, I can't say no, because they are financially supporting me somewhat. Before they were supporting me much more, not less, but they're still supporting me. So, and I still need them to help me to move to one place or another because I'm not working. So yes, I don't want to have a bad relationship with him, but I just can't come to appreciate him anyway. So I was having this psychosis, and then I moved to the hospital, and then I thought like vampires was coming. Like my stepdad is a vampire, and he comes to my sleep, sucking my blood and raping me, and then making me have babies, and then take them off, like having miscarriage or things like that. So I've been having that on circling every month. So now I'm taking my birth control pills so that I won't have this kind of like fear or things like that. So that was November, and November I got hospitalized again because I thought like it's going to be end of me by the time it's Christmas, because Christmas I'm going to be eaten, or like eaten, by a vampire or an alien or something like this. That is my stepdad, obviously. My mom is also an alien. Like I don't know, like I also like doubted on it, but I also thought that I might be an alien as well. Like, if I carry my mom's blood, then that means I am alien and I'm a half vampire or something like this, you know. So, but somewhat I didn't have the gene to turn into a complete vampire, or it's just I didn't turn to a vampire because I just carry half of the blood or some of the blood. But somewhat, you know, my blood just got washed off, and I am just, you know, a normal person, a normal human, and not a vampire or something like this. Yes, that was, I think being a vampire is pretty common, because one of my friends who was being hospitalized in the period of July to September in the same hospital I was being hospitalized, he was having the same kind of thought. He thought he was a vampire, and he thought that one of his friend was the reason Corona got so big, and she created Corona. So I had a story with Corona as well. So I thought I created Corona, actually. I thought like I got so bad because I was in this, like, you know, almost died kind of situation. So I prayed that this is the end of world. So I had I don't know, this is like, you know, psychotic on this very, I kind of feel like I mean, a bad person, extremely bad person to wish for the end of the world. But when you like, you feel like crappy and you just can't get out of it, no one is helping you, and you feel helpless, and when you call your parents and they say, oh, you just go to hospital yourself and we don't care about you. But the message they're sending is basically, we don't care about you. And I was getting this message, so I thought, like, I just wish this is the end of the world. I think, yeah, this is, might sound a lot like not schizophrenic person, but how do you say it, like psychopathic, yeah, psychopathic person. I might sound like a psychopathic, but I don't think I'm psychopathic, because I can relate to people's feelings pretty good, and I can pretty good like read body languages and things like that, and relate to people emotions. Like, I have emotions, I can self-relate to myself and someone else. So I don't think I'm psychopathic, but I had some kind of psychopathic thought up to a certain point when I felt really low, and I feel like there's just no end to it, and I can't get out, no one's helping, this is going to end of me tonight. Then yeah, I got a wish and I had a dream about it. In the dream I was asking God to end this world or some kind of thing. So yeah, I know it's bad, but anyway, so I wished for that. And then soon after, it was the Corona thing, you know, that was a Corona thing, like beginning 2020 and 2019, beginning 2020, that was a period like right before I had a wish, and then after that there's a Corona. So I thought I created Corona. Yes, so I was that was why I was the archangel sent from God and going to end the world, and I had a superpower that is controlling the weather. So basically, if it's sunny, that means I'm having a good day, and if it's raining, that means I'm having a really sad time. And if it's thunder, that means I'm really angry or sad or religious. Anyway, the wind, I'm controlling the wind as well. Wind is just actually like kind of like modulating my emotions. It's like, if I feel like strong emotions, whatever kind of strong emotions, the wind is going to blow really fast and really loud. And every time I turn from one corner to another on the street, there would always be wind. That was because it was summer and we were in a period like that was really windy, but I felt like I was controlling it anyway. So I had a mole on my back that was rounded like this. Like, it's a pretty weird kind of mole, but it can be quite cancerous if you don't take it off, because they can change the shape they can't change the shape. They're not like, it's not like it's not like it's definitely going to happen, but they might, because they're more like a unstable kind of mole. So I had this mole, which is a ring, and I thought back then that was a ring God sent to me, that was relating me with illness. It was kind of like a fairy tale kind of relationship. So I was talking to him through Tinder, not Tinder, Twitter and Instagram and Quora, things like that. So I had this relationship with him, and I thought, oh, that was the ring, that was like a wedding ring, like it carved that was already waiting recovered in my body, something like this. But it was not like, and so I took the mole off because it might be cancerous. So anyway, and then yeah, I was in November. I was being with the vampire thing. Yes, so I was being hospitalized in a place that was quite strict. Like we can't smoke whenever we want. I don't really smoke, but I smoked for 2 months or something because I thought like smoking is preventing me from being eaten by the vampire, because vampire doesn't like blood that is like, you know, has smells in it or is not healthy. They like the blood that is healthy or something like this. So I started smoking for 2 months and kind of get addicted to it to a certain point, but it was okay to stop because it was just 2 months, you know. So I had this vampire thing, being hospitalized. I made a few friends there too. So hospital was a place where I can just socialize to a certain point. So I got this and I got off. And then I had another psychosis again. Because I was not taking the medication back then, and I was sleeping really bad and I couldn't sleep. I just thought like my stepdad is going to be next morning in my life, something like this. It was really on the was really stressful because you just really feel like this is definitely going to happen tomorrow. So I was feeling really bad. I felt like listened all the time, like I have something plugged in my ear or in my brain, something like somewhere, like, you know, microchip somewhere placed in me. So they're just constantly listening to me, things like this. Anyway, so there is that. And I just felt like I'm going to be eaten the next day, and I couldn't sleep. And then I hide myself in the place. There is tons of bushes, but it's on a main street, like a kind of like a main street. So there's people walking by the street, and they saw me like being there for 2 hours, and they were asking themselves like, what the hell is happening with me? So, and one of my neighbor just passed through the street, and she was being a bit worried, so she called the ambulance, and I was sent to the hospital again. And in this hospital was really special. So I had this really torturous and psychotic relationship online with Elon Musk, and that was about to end because I was receiving death threat from him. Like I felt I was receiving death threat from him, so I just said, yeah, it's probably going to end, and I don't want anything with it to do with him anymore. And then in this new hospital, there is a guy who looked like exactly like Jeff Bezos. So from that point, I started a relationship with Jeff Bezos. Yes, that was not that much chaotic because I already had Elon Musk, and I just got myself say, oh yes, if I start something again, might not be that good. But it turns out that the place where I live, everybody this year, because it's really hot, and I don't know, maybe it's a trendy thing, but everybody's having bald hairs, like no hair, like all shaved. And so just every time I look at someone that is bald, I just can't help thinking about Jeff Bezos, which is funny. So yeah, I've been going through that, and I've been trying to date him and trying to think, like, I'm not really seducing him, but convincing him, because I know he's spying on me or stalking me. So I will try to convince him that I want to be his next wife or something like that. I know it's stupid, but you know, I thought I could. I really felt I could. So, but then it's like, you know, it's been a few months that nothing is really happening. So I thought like, I'm going to share this with you because I need to take this off my chest, because otherwise I don't know where I'm going to go. Next time I think I'm going to date maybe Bill Gates, or maybe Warren Buffett or something like this, you know. I don't know. I just kind of like how I like to date the billionaires, people that's famous, because they're creative and entrepreneur kind of person, smart, things like that. I don't know, just really interesting, those kind of personalities. So I think I date them. I don't know if you ever had those kind of things, like maybe you wanted to date a famous person, a singer or things like that. Could happen, right? Like it's not like I'm stalking them, but I feel like they're stalking me. So it's a new kind of thing. But I bet they're stalking me because if you use an iPhone or an Android phone, they're probably listening somewhere. So I think it's not that wrong when I say I feel like I'm being listened. So you are listening to me. Yes. Anyway, I just feel listened all the time. I still have this, like, I just live with that, and now I just feel like I'm being listened, checked all the time, all my emotions being checked, my thoughts being listened. So I have to be constantly regulating myself to think, oh yes, I probably shouldn't be thinking about that. That is a bit more, this is a bad thing to think about, or this is a bit too violent, or this is too sexual, or things like that, you know, because I have those kind of issues. That's my neighbor coming in and my door is open because I need to, I'm moving out soon, so I'm going to just clean things up, things like that. So my door is open. Yes, so I've been having quite a few really, I don't know, you probably never think about kind of relationship and in my mind, which is pretty good. But I know now it's in my mind and I still think it's real. I don't know. I just think it's real. Whatever. So yes, I think like I said before, like I'm 25 this year, but I just feel like I wasted all my teen years because my illness started when I was 14, 2012, I think. Yeah, I started at 2012 or 2011, September 2011, October 2011, I think, till like today. So I just feel like I wasted all my teen years, preteen years. Preteen years was okay, but like teen years was hell. I just couldn't do things like other teenagers wanted to do. And also because my parents are pretty strict and pretty stingy, so they just, when I say I want a new phone, like an iPhone, because all my classmates were like having iPhone back then, an iPad or Mac, things like that. I just wanted really bad, but I just, because I was a kind of like an adopted child in the family, I don't know. My mom is my real mom, but she remarried with a new husband and they had a kid together, so that kid was their real kid and I was just like included in the package. So and my stepdad was paying for everything. My mom is like for everyone, actually, my school and things like that. So I just couldn't afford myself to ask him to buy myself an iPhone, especially he doesn't have a really good phone, because they just live that way. He earns quite good enough, I mean, but he actually can't afford like a phone, latest iPhone. He can totally afford that, but he just doesn't want to spend that money. They rather invest into apartments and rent them, and just then later on in their years, like when they're retired, they will get much more, like, you know, comfort, things like that. So all my teen years I was living really, I think my life was pretty miserable. So now I'm 25, I'm getting more like social helps, so I think I have more money under my hand, even though it's not a lot. It's about, I'm not gonna say it, but it's, you know, it's not a lot, but it's much more than what I had before. Like before I was having 400 every month and I had to pay bills and everything, with food bills. Like at the end of the month sometimes I was negative, sometimes I was having 20 euro left on my account every month. I was really, you know, pretty tight. Now I'm having more than before, so I'm really glad. So I think I'm going to do things that I really wanted to do back then when I was teen, but couldn't do. So things like, it could be whatever. I really like Disneyland, but I just couldn't go there very often. So last year I bought myself a annual card. Then I can go just then pretty much every day. But because of coronavirus and my psychosis, I couldn't really go there. So I'm going to move out before the 4th of July this next month here. So I think before that I'm going to Disneyland once or twice again to be able to just have fun, enjoy the environment, things like that. So yes, I don't know what this channel is going to be about. I think this channel is going to be just about me and my life, and how having mental health problems or pretty serious kind of mental health problems can lead you somewhere, or like how to make pretty much the most of your life with not much, or like how to, I don't know, how do you feel like, or do things that you really wanted to do back when you were a teen but couldn't really do because you were mentally restricting yourself. So like when I was 17, 18, 20, I just didn't feel like I was 17, 20. I felt like I was 12, 14. Like I think I just stopped at a certain age. I couldn't grow out of it, and all my fears was compressing me under a kind of a smaller word or smaller bubble, so I just can't grow out of it, and I just feel like I just couldn't age or couldn't grow wiser, or couldn't grow like to an adult, something like this. I still don't feel like I'm an adult, but I'm doing things a lot of young adults, like going back to school adults do. But I mean, I'm 25, so my friends or my schoolmates, classmates who's my age is already working for about 2 years or 1 year, and they're like working now. But I still, like, you know what, this year I'm going back to university. I'm going to be in the second year, so it's a sophomore year, I think. I'm not sure. Anyway, so I'm going back to school. I'm going to study math and finance, I think. Nice. So yes, before I was in computer science and I totally sucked at it. I think I'm still going to try to do things about computer science, but I totally, like, you know, I don't get a thing from it. I can do basic stuff, but once you get a bit over the basic, I'll just get really confused and I just feel like feeling lost. It's like I'm in a new city and I don't have a map and I'm just walking randomly from one place to another. I feel completely lost. So yes, this year I'm going to be math, finance. I hope it works out well, and I hope I can get to know one or two classmates that is dependable enough to just spend some time with, if that is possible. Yes. So I think this channel is just going to be about me trying to getting back on time, like getting back the time I have lost before. So in the period of from 14 to today I'm 25, yes, today I'm 25, so let's say just 10 years. It's actually 11 years, but let's just say 10 years. So it's just going to be me trying to get back my last 10 years. I'm going to think probably doing some weight loss videos or like meal prep things if I'll be able to, I don't know, or just doing like enjoying like makeups, because I never got the time to actually do makeups. My mom was really against it. She think that is not necessary and things like that, or superficial, you know, just wanted you go study math and get straight A's, things like that. That's what she wanted, like you go study math, get straight A's and find a job and just work. Never really enjoying life, just like, you know, things like that. So I think I'm going to try to enjoy my life a bit more. Like I think I'm going to make videos about doing makeups and doing nails, why not, and maybe trying some art, because I was really interested in drawing before, but I never got opportunity to really draw seriously. My drawing totally sucks. So, but I still want to try, you know, basic stuff. It's going to be really ugly, I think, on my drawings, but it's fun, just about having fun, right? Trying things that I've never happened to do. So yes, I still got my Disney ticket until September. I still can go there as much as I want. That is nice. And I think I'm going to do what kind of video? Yes, if I do something fun, it's going to be vlogging videos, or... Oh, actually, I dyed my hair. This is the hair I dyed and that is with 4 bill each and 1 dye. The last one is I tried to dye it and you just tone the color a bit more because otherwise it's really yellowish, like really yellowish, like I don't know, somewhere that is yellowish here, like, you know, that was really yellowish, like on oranges, like here. I bleached them 4 times and dyed it with a hair dye I bought in the shop and on Amazon. Yeah, a hair dye bought on Amazon. And so yes, this is the result. I am pretty happy with the result, but it just, my hair are really thick and so they feel like they're straws. But it's not because I dye them, it's just because my hair is naturally like straws, and really, if you have black hair, they're still going to be like this, you know, a bit wavy and then really thick and really dry and just feel like a straw because they're thick, you know. And if you touch them, it's kind of like pricking you, I think. Anyway, this is the result. I don't know if blonde suits me better, but I just feel like once I got to the blonde color, I just can't help spend my days doing selfies. I know it's pretty childish and it feels like superficial, kind of like my mom would say, to take selfies all the time, but I never gotten to really take selfies before, so I just really want to take selfies pretty much every day and, like, you know, do some vanity time by myself because I really like dye my hair to all kinds of colors, taking care of my makeup and how I look like, things like that. And my mom is not really getting into, she doesn't like jewelries. She always told me, oh yeah, I don't have much jewelries, look how sober I am. Oh, and sober, like, I don't know, it's not sober, how what's the word to describe someone that is living under very limited kind of conditions, even though they have much more than what they can afford to. I don't know, it's being sober. I don't know, it's not sober, it's being what, I don't know the word anyway, but you know, she's very humble, a very humble person, so she doesn't spend much on jewelries. But I think it's a shame because she's only not spending that much money because she married to someone who's earning quite a lot and she doesn't work, so she can't afford to say, oh yes, I'm going to take your money so I can spend on things like jewelries and things like that. My stepdad was pretty strict before because he was, every time she spent money, he would ask her where she spent the money on. So I think that totally sucks. So yeah. Anyway, so I think I'm going to do more like hair color things and more makeup things and more like clothes stuff because I really love clothes. And same, like before when I was teen, my mom was saying, oh yes, you don't need much clothes, or things like we can't afford to buy you too much clothes, or just she herself doesn't wear too much, like, you know, she says she's like, she's cold all the time, so she can afford to wear clothes that are pretty because she's cold and she can't wear dress, or she's complaining about it all the time. So when you wear a dress, you just feel like it's wrong to wear a dress because she can't wear it, and she would always make comment like, oh, you look so pretty, but in a way that's a bit jealous, you know. So I never really got into wear dresses or pretty stuff or just clothes in general. All my clothes was pretty basic, you know, and was pretty basic. So now I just feel like I want to buy more clothes and explore a bit more things about fashion, even though my budget is quite limited, but I still kind of want to just explore a bit more, like getting things like jewelry, things my mom really hates, or she can't do, or she can't afford to, or she doesn't want to show that she's actually into it, but she just kind of like shy or doesn't want to admit that she's also into that kind of thing, or actually she don't care. I don't know which one. I feel like she's probably just doesn't want to admit that she really likes it, but because she can afford to, you know, kind of thing. Because my stepdad would check and she would, I don't know, she would feel bad about it or things like that. So, but I am no longer living with her and I'm not like 17 years old or 20 years old. So I think I'm going to have fun. This year I'm going to have fun buying more clothes and doing more makeup, dye my hair to different kind of colors, and things like that. So yeah. Honestly, I think this video is just going to be about myself, but if I can motivate some people with mental health problems to, I don't know, be able to say, yes, like my life is pretty miserable right now, or life is pretty hard, but I can still do things like, you know, to enjoy this life, you know, because when you have mental health problems, enjoying life is like too much of a luxury, especially if you are also having strict parents or a bit narcissistic parent, when they just restrict your like budget as well, and you don't have a way to make money and you just live under their control, things like that. So yeah, so just kind of, if I'm able to encourage you guys to say, oh look, there is someone who has been to a place that's pretty much the same, or who is actually in a place that's pretty similar to mine, and who is trying to just live a decent life and having fun. And if you also feel like you have wasted 10 years in your life because you just, or more, or just you have wasted years, a bit less or whatever, just if you feel like you have wasted years in your life by too much self-absorbing or too much self-pitying, or believing whatever people are saying about you, or even your parents saying about you, and all the kind of conditioning and things like that in society or in your family or in your like close environment or things like this. Yes, I think you should just have fun. Like I would try to have fun, you know. I think I might make some singing videos because I'm really into singing. I think it's fun. I used to sing like in the shower. I used to sing when I feel really oppressed, and every time before, like I was feeling really oppressed, and I was feeling having much more social anxieties. I would, every time going back to home, sing really loud so the pressure is out. I don't sing well. Actually, I think I'm tone deaf, but you know, it's fine. It's just about having fun and things like that. So yes, I really envy people who sing, like who can just like tone their voice in a way that is just do exactly the thing they want to do. I really envy those people, but I can't do that. I'm really basic. I'm pretty basic in everything I do. Like I suck at pretty much everything. Like I said, probably today, if I didn't waste my years, I'm just about like, you know, 14 years old. Like 14 years old, because I wasted all those years and didn't know much, didn't learn much. The only thing I've learned, I think, is about like, you know, life is just hard, and if you can enjoy it, just enjoy it. If it's hard, then if you can try to enjoy it to a certain degree, and as long as you have as soon as you have an opportunity to enjoy it, just make sure to enjoy it, because you never know what might happen. So like I said, in 2019 I had really bad health problems, so, and that was the time I realized that, you know, you really need to have fun in your life, otherwise you don't get to do it if you die. So really, just enjoy as much as you can, for as long as you can, because you never know what might happen. That's what I think, you know. So yes, I know that my parents are more type of people who's like saving, and I'm like more, as soon as I get some money, I will just spend it on anything I like, and kind of want to enjoy myself, because I didn't got the opportunity before. So right now, even though I'm not earning a lot, and I'm not earning anything, I'm not working, but I have some sort of revenue from the state pension. Like they're like a mental health, like it's a state pension for people who's got disabilities. I'm one of those people, so I have a state pension and revenue from that. So I'm just trying to make my life better and feel better about myself, and exploring things, lose some weight, maybe date a few people, and I'm going to talk about that in this channel, about how, if I want to make it like, you know, more relatable to others, or to you guys, I don't know, I would say this is going to be a channel about like how, if you have mental health problems, still want to make the most out of it, and just trying to enjoy life a bit more and coping every day when you have a distress situations, when you feel like everything is, very psychotic, very chaotic. I don't know, maybe I'm going to have, another episode of psychosis. If I'm going to have it, I'm going to talk about it. I will talk about you guys about that. So yes, this is going to be that.